Okay, so I was telling you about the directions. So as you can see here, these are the 8 main directions. They are north, south, west and east. And the intermediate directions, northwest between north and west, northeast between north and east, and southeast between south and east, and southwest between south and west. Now we have to name these winds. Now how do we name the winds? We name the winds according to the direction from where they blow or from where they originate. For example, this particular wind, which is blowing from subtropical high pressure to equatorial low pressure in the northern hemisphere, this wind is blowing in this direction. But this wind has originated from this direction, from northeast. From northeast, it is blowing towards southwest. So since it has originated in the northeast, it will be called the northeasterly wind. So this wind here is called northeasterly. And this wind here, it is this wind. This wind has originated from southeast. From southeast, it is blowing towards northwest. So it will be called the southeasterly wind. So this wind here is the southeasterly wind. Same way, we have to name all the other winds. Now this wind which blows in this direction, so it is this wind. You see the thickened arrow here. It has originated in the southwest direction. From here, it is moving towards northeast. It is moving from southwest to northeast. So this wind here is the southwesterly wind. Southwesterly wind. And this wind here, this is the wind. And this wind has originated from northwest. From northwest, it is moving towards southeast. So since it has originated in northwest, this wind will be called the northwesterly wind. And now these winds, they are more like the winds which are blowing from subtropical high pressure to the equatorial low pressure. The direction is almost the same. So this wind is northeasterly. And this wind here is the southeasterly. Okay, now let us understand what these winds are commonly called. Okay, now these winds which are blowing from subtropical high pressure to equatorial low pressure in both the hemispheres. In the northern hemisphere, they are blowing in the northeasterly direction, and in the southern hemisphere, they are blowing in the southeasterly direction. These winds are called the trade winds. Now the word trade winds comes from another word, and it's a Spanish word, not actually a Spanish word, it's a Latin word, trado, which means constant direction. So these winds blow from subtropical high pressure belts to equatorial low pressure belts, and since they are constant in strength and direction, they are called trade winds after the Latin word trado, which means constant direction. And these winds blow towards the equator from the northeast in the northern hemisphere and southeast in the southern hemisphere. So they are sometimes also called the northeast trade winds, and these are called the southeast trade winds. Another thing about these winds, that their direction is determined by the Farrell's law, as I had explained to you. Then when these winds, they blow from sea, they are called onshore winds, and when they blow from sea, they will have a lot of moisture in them and they will give rainfall. Then the next set of winds that I had explained to you, these winds which are blowing from subtropical high pressure to subpolar low pressure, and similarly in the southern hemisphere also from subtropical high pressure to subpolar low pressure, they are called westerly winds. And these winds are blowing between 30 and 60 degrees north and 30 and 60 degrees south, as you can see. Now the winds in the northern hemisphere, these winds, the direction is southwest, so they are called southwesterly in the northern hemisphere and they are called northwesterly in the southern hemisphere. Just see, we had just found out their direction. Now whenever these winds, they blow onshore, just like the trade winds, when the westerlies blow onshore, they will give rainfall, they give rainfall. And these winds are more violent, or they blow very fast in the southern hemisphere compared to the northern hemisphere, because in the northern hemisphere we have a lot of land in this area where the westerlies blow. This is where the westerlies are blowing. So because we have very broad land mass, so what happens is that when the winds blow over the land, due to friction produced, their speed is greatly reduced, which is the case with the northern hemisphere. But in the southern hemisphere, in these latitudes between 30 and 60, there is absence of land mass. So these winds blow at a very high speed, they are violent. And so according to the latitude, they are named. Like in the 40 degrees south latitude, they are called roaring 40s. In the 50 degrees south latitude, they are called furious 50s. In the 60 degrees south latitude, they are called shrieking 60s. So that's how the westerlies are named. Moving on to the next set of winds, that is the polar winds. You can see the direction of polar winds is almost the same as the trade winds. Just compare the direction of trade winds with the polar winds. Now they are cold winds because they are blowing from the polar regions. So wherever they blow, they will lower the temperature. And these winds are very variable winds because here the Coriolis force is maximum. So there is maximum variation in the direction of the polar winds, and these winds are variable thus. Then they are more regular or constant in the southern hemisphere, as most of this area, and these winds are cold and dry as they blow from cold ice-capped regions. So these are the prevailing winds or the permanent winds which blow over the entire world. And just like the wind, the pressure belts, there is shifting of wind belts also, and this shifting of wind belts is in accordance with the apparent movement of the sun. Next we have to study about periodic winds. Now as the name suggests, periodic winds are those winds which blow in a definite direction during a particular period of time. It could either be during day or during night or during summer or during winters. So there are two types of periodic winds. The first type is land and sea breezes, and the second is monsoon winds. Now these winds, they are caused by the difference in the rate of heating of land and water. Now let me explain this to you. Now difference in heating of land and water means that land takes a very short time to heat up and cool down, whereas water takes a very long time to get heated and also it takes a very long time to cool down. Because of this property of land and water, these winds blow. And land and sea breeze, they blow for a very short period of time, that is just for a few hours. But monsoon winds, they are seasonal. They blow for a few months. Like summer monsoon winds blow during the summers and winter monsoon winds blow during the winters. And you can see the diagram here, I've shown the diagram of land breeze and sea breeze. The first diagram is of sea breeze, which blows during the daytime, because the sea is cool during the daytime, and so cold wind blows, no, actually not cold, but cool wind blows from sea to land. And during the night time, the land cools faster than sea, so land is comparatively cooler than sea. Hence, a cool breeze blows from land to sea during the night time. So that's about periodic winds. Next, we have the variable winds. As the name suggests, in case of variable winds, the direction, speed and area and also time changes. So variable winds affect only small areas and last only a few days. They vary in time and speed and areas, and therefore rightly called the variable winds. Now, so this is the definition of variable winds. Now there are two types of variable winds. The first type is the cyclone and the second is the anticyclone. Now you can see that cyclones blow from regions of high pressure to regions of low pressure. The high pressure is located in the surrounding area, and the interior area or the inner area has a low pressure. So towards the inner low pressure, the winds blow in case of a cyclone, and these winds blow at a very high speed in a spiral manner, and they cause a lot of devastation and heavy rainfall. Whereas anticyclones, as the name suggests, is exactly opposite to a cyclone. Here the winds blow from internal high pressure to outward low pressure, and anticyclones cause pleasant weather conditions, and there is no rainfall in an anticyclone. Then we move on to the next set of winds, that is local winds. Next we have the local winds. The characteristics of the local winds are that these winds blow for a short period of time over a very small area. Now I have already given you the examples of local winds in the classification of winds. So please refer to that video for the examples of local winds. Moving to the last element, that is cloud cover and sunshine. Now, cloud cover plays an important role in the weather of a map. It not only reduces the amount of insolation, but also reduces the amount of radiation from the surface of the earth escaping into space. Now, this I had explained to you earlier, that if there are clouds during the daytime, they will not allow the solar radiation, the sun rays, to reach the earth's surface. So daytime will be very cool if the sky is overcast. And if there are clouds at night, the solar radiations which were earlier absorbed by the earth, they are not allowed to go out of the atmosphere as they are trapped by the clouds. The clouds act as a barrier and do not allow the solar radiations which are being radiated out of the earth, which are called terrestrial radiations, to leave the earth's atmosphere, and because of which the nights are going to be warm. Then so you must have noticed that cloudy days are warmer than cloudless days. Then some clouds also cause rainfall, and whenever there is cloudless skies, whenever there is a cloudless sky, it indicates fair weather. Now the cloud cover in the sky is expressed in eighths, as you can see I've written on the board, of the total sky, or octaves, which are shown in the weather maps as discs. As you can see here, I have shown 4 discs and they are shaded in different proportions. Now the first one on the left side, where I have written 2/8. Now this is shown by a disc in which a quarter is shaded. You can see only a quarter of the disc is shaded here. So this is the 2/8. Then the second case, 4/8, is shown by a disc half shaded. You can see this disc is half shaded. And then 6/8 is shown by 3/4 shaded disc. And 8/8, which is complete, which shows an overcast sky, is completely shaded. So this is the overcast condition, and this is the proportion is 8 by 8. So that's all about this chapter now.